We were trapped on a shale slide 700 yards across from the mountain goat we'd been stalking for 5 hours. The sun had disappeared behind the ridge above, and the blue skies were giving way to sheets of snow showers that were moving up from the valley below. We sat motionless for an hour, fearing that the slightest movement would allow our quarry to spot us, resulting in a spoiled stalk. The goat, possibly a record animal, was bedded down on an outcropping opposite us, surveying the valley all around. His vantage point allowed full view of the slope we now found ourselves on, and as the darkness approached, we thought that we surely would be returning another day. I'd been looking for a goat hunt when I learned that the Minnesota-Wisconsin Foundation for North American Wild Sheep, FNAWS, would have a hunt at their annual dinner. After a few calls to the outfitter, Bracewell's Alpine Adventures, and with references checked, I became the successful bidder on a one-week horseback hunt at Tatlayoko Lake, British Columbia. I booked for the last hunt of the season, running the risk of being snowed out, but searching for a long-haired goat. Then the hunt preparation began. Physical fitness was the next challenge. As an F-16 fighter pilot, I had a pretty good start, but there are not many mountains in North Dakota. So a lot of time was spent on the stair steppers and on the climbing walls at the local gym. Those walls are pretty challenging and work a variety of muscles. The flights up went quickly, the luggage inspections were trouble-free, and I checked in at my hotel in Williams Lake. I met Alex and two departing clients for breakfast the next morning. They had many good stories about their hunts, and both had shot record-book goats over 10 inches. Alex and I departed for Tatlayoko, and 200 miles later we arrived at the Circle X Ranch, which is the Bracewell family lodge. We arose early, and after a quick breakfast and a quick trip to the firing range to ensure rifle accuracy, we saddled the horses and hit the trail. Each of us had our own mount, and a pack horse rounded out our caravan. My horse, Warrior, was a large Belgian draft horse. It rained lightly through the ride, and 3 hours later we were at our campsite, just below the tree line. We quickly set up camp at the spot the locals call Billy Goat Wash, and then hunted until dark. Clouds and fog were continually rolling in, and occasionally the fog would part, allowing us to glass the slopes above us. During one of these brief breaks, we watched a goat about 500 yards above us, making his way across the slope. No time for analysis, though, as he was quickly swallowed up by the fog. We slowly worked our way up through some trees, and when it looked like all hope was lost, he walked out, 150 yards above us. He was a young goat, though, approximately 3 years old, and so we merely watched as he fed in the rocks above us. Darkness was setting in as we arrived back in camp, and it was raining pretty heavily. Our sleeping arrangement kept us dry, though, and the fire and talk of goats kept spirits high. After night divided between sleep and wondering if that noise we just heard was possibly a grizzly, we awoke and began working our way up the mountain in the fog. We startled 4 mule deer, only one small buck in the group, during our climb. We climbed nearly to the top of the mountain from a camp elevation of 5,300 feet to about 7,500 feet. Ridge after ridge fell below our boots, and it wasn't until the afternoon that we spotted another goat. He was 350 yards out, and he looked as if he could have been the same goat as the day prior. We watched him climb a ridge opposite us, and he once lost his footing and fell about 10 feet, leaving him with a slight limp and a muddy spot on his shoulder. Not seeing any other goats, we worked back down, broke camp at 3:30 p.m., and rode back to the lodge. So far, I've only ridden into one tree, probably my fault. Warrior seems to know what he's doing. Riding's pretty fun, but it surely strains the lateral ligaments in my knees. The hot bath and dinner were great, and I began to feel human again. My legs were holding out fine, so my pre-hunt conditioning was paying off. We had been up many steep slopes and a chimney or two, and I look forward to more of the same. Up at 7 a.m., had breakfast in the lodge, and we were on our way by 9 o'clock. The day dawned nicely, warm and sunny, a welcome break from the drizzle of the 2 days prior. The ride was about 5 miles, and we stopped halfway in some open meadows prior to ascending the mountain. We spotted one goat high above us and figured that if we didn't see any others, we'd work our way towards him in the afternoon. After many switchbacks, we finally got up to the camp and tethered the horses. We then began our climb out of the tree line to glass the canyons. We glassed the first canyon, saw nothing, and proceeded to work towards where we had last seen the goat. We went a little further and spotted a lone goat, the same one we had seen earlier from below.
So anyway, that's Jack's part of the story then. He was watching that goat. And I was gone, eh? I come roaring back there looking down over the binoculars. Well, there's the backpack, little papers on top of it.
Yeah, 'cause I figured if the goat's gonna go someplace, I don't need him. I'm gonna go find that goat and shoot it.
Yeah.
I've already decided it's a good goat. All I gotta do is get in position to go shoot him.
Yeah. So
By the time he catches up with me, I'm already a couple ridges over looking at it through these trees. And I'm close from, originally we were about a kilometer out.
Yeah.
And I closed about 600 meters.
So the F-16 fighter pilot Jack Kelly is about to stalk in on a big goat, by God.
and I can see the goat, and I get behind these big rocks, and where's Jack, you know? And I get to the last big rock, and look over, there he is right there. He's sneaking down the slide. He's looking at the goat, then down the slide, and look at the goat, down the slide.
So he's decided to start feeding, he put his head down, so we'll watch him with the glasses. And as soon as he goes to feed, he's pointing uphill away from us.
Yeah.
Right, so as soon as that head goes down, I figure I got about 10 steps. I take those 10 and stop. He does the same thing. We look at it, and about then, you know, we go to look around a little bit, then he'll take another step or feet, bam, another.
Then in the end, he had us pinned.
We were
Like
middle of the slope, middle of the rock slide.
Yeah, we were in the middle of the rock slide, and he quit feeding, laid on the ledge, and he's laying there just looking down at us. Yeah. And we sat there for like an hour and a half. And then suddenly this big piece of fog comes along and covers him over, and away we go, down the hill, up the bush, and he got up and started to go up into this one little place, and he gets up in there, we can't get him. Yeah. And so we're just crossing the foot and get up there to where we get about 50-yard shot, 25. They're like, oh, here's the only chance. Those walks in there, he's got about 6 feet go, he's gone. Yeah.
Take your time. There you go. Whoop. Stay there. Nice shot, yeah. Lots of fur, 9-inch horns, about.
Well, here we are. The horns didn't break off in the fall. It's all about, well, you saw it fall.
Yeah, no
about
kidding.
100 feet. It got kind of loose in there, though. Great late season goat. Luckily, we don't have any snow, but boy, you talk about some thick, nice fur on them. Mane there.
Yeah, it was snowing on us a bit ago. That's cutting her kind of close, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, when the fog rolled in, we were finally able to make our stalk. We were trapped over on that other face over there. In fact, why don't you pan over where we were looking out on that ridge? We had to cross all that gravel right there, and this goat was looking at us the whole time to get down into the trees below. But then the fog rolled in and he couldn't see us.
Yesterday we were bitching about the fog. Today we were hoping it'd show up.
Oh yeah, and so we, as soon as that fog rolled in, we beat feet down into the trees and were able to sneak up and maybe 300, 350 yard shot.
Where was he? Just dropped off just up above here, didn't he?
Yep, came right,
yeah, just up there.
just up there about 100 feet. So, and now the work begins.
Yeah, nice shit, eh? Right on, nice shot, boy. I just punched him good one, eh?
Oh,
One
yeah.
shot, better than hell.
175 grain nozzler partitions,
Yay.
2 grains, preloader 22.
And so by now it's 6, like 6:30. So we get up to the goat, and I start seeing it right away, like just slipping back like everything else. So that wasn't a show, so we could take some pictures still. They put them up, took some pictures, some little video. So we picked up that goat and got the hell out of there. It was getting really dark.
Well, and that's where it started to snow.
It took us 3 hours to go from that bridge, you can't see it right now, but that bridge there, to go back over the horses. It snowed so damn much, and I ended up going high. I'm always worried about going low. And I did that before, so here I am trying to stay high, We had to climb up this damn shale slide with the 2 9/4 back straps and the goat hide. Oh, that was the most difficult damn climb I've done in a long time. It took us 3 hours. It snowed like hell. But it kept snowing. It kept snowing. It kept snowing. Geez, pretty soon it was 8 inches. And the snow on the limbs, damn fire would, if you stood out in the snow, you get wet. So you stood underneath the tree, well, the heat of the fire would melt the snow and it'd rain on it. It'd rain in the fire. So we hit about 15 minutes, about all, having a little crash beside the fire. And after that, we just stayed up all night. Kept stoking the fire, finding the wood, doing things. And then this morning coming out, you wouldn't believe that trail. It was still leading down. Couldn't find a trail. It was all the trees were over like this. You couldn't see a trail. Like you just boom, 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 and pretty soon you're filled with snow right up your lap. And every day you just duck your head like a turtle and plow through it, plow through it. There's no way I could find a damn trail.
Had the goat scored for Boone and Crockett. It scored 51 points. That placed it as number 277 out of 685 goats in the Boone and Crockett all-time records. Pretty good. The horns have very wide bases and are about 10 inches long. Thanks to Alex, Gary, and the staff at Bracewell's Alpine Adventures for a great hunt and a great goat.